Okay, so we'll be taking names at the end of the room here if you want to be in the special, the HBO, Pat's HBO special. Okay, so you now know our next speaker is Pat O'Malley. Pat O'Malley is an independent corporate trainer and course developer. He was a computer trainer for digital equipment, Compaq, HP for over 10 years. And he was the director or VP of operations for the variety of computer companies. Most recently, he was the VP of operations for Northern Light Search Engine. Please give me a nice, warm welcome for Pat O'Malley.
That's good. So your clapping will be on the HBO special. All right, thank you. That was my lie for the night, by the way. It was the HBO special line. Okay, evidently people aren't big fans of PowerPoint. And I can understand that. But for the people that have to use it, and some people have to use it, and especially if you do technical presentations, you have to use it. It's a good idea to know some of the tips that I'm going to give you, and too many presenters, good presenters, don't use some of these tricks, which is the reason that I wanted to do this session. Okay, I'm Patrick O'Malley. My phone number, by the way, is 617-PATRICK. I'm pretty cool.
Thank you.
Okay, that actually works. That's honestly it. My website address is www.patricko'malley.com. I'm pretty cool. Okay? Also, if you want copies of these slides, I want you to send an email to pat@patricko'malley.com, and I will send you an email back with the slides. There's actually going to be more to the slides than you will actually see in the presentation. In fact, in the presentation, on the tables, there are handouts that have 6 selected slides from the presentation. Okay? Doesn't have everything, but it has the things that I didn't want to have you write down because you would have been writing fast and furiously about technical stuff, and if you get something wrong, you might go home and it might not work. Okay, introduction. First of all, thank you for coming. This was sort of an experimental type of event that Ann had thought about, so thanks for bringing out 40 people to do it. Thanks to the volunteers, especially Ann Klein, who put in a ton of time to make this event a success. Okay, and give a round of applause for her, too. Was for her. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, in terms of shameless self-promotion, because unfortunately it's only been mentioned 4 times previously tonight, I will be doing the session in March on business networking using LinkedIn, which is a very cool session, by the way, much better than you might think. Tickets are still available. And I like starting any session with a joke. So, a blue ship and a red ship collide in the ocean. What happened to the survivors? They were marooned. Oh. Hey, it's a clean joke. You know, it would have been a lot funnier if it was a dirty joke, but it's not appropriate for the crowd. Okay, learning objectives for tonight are just a few quick tips about PowerPoint. To learn the B key, the W key, to learn the power of this, a Logitech presenter. Okay, something that I always try to use when I do a presentation in PowerPoint. And thirdly, to learn the power of how to put in a slide number and jump around the presentations that you do. Okay, first of all, I consider this sort of a stealth key because people don't tend to use it very often. But you see situations where people want to turn off the projector during a presentation or on a break, and they shut off the actual projector. Or, one of my favorites, right? They put a piece of paper over the projector, which is a very creative way of burning down the building. Okay? Because if you then leave and it overheats, you got a piece of paper, okay? Not the best way to block the projector. Most people don't know that making the screen go black is as simple as hitting the B key. When you do that, the screen goes black. It gives you the same effect that you wanted before, except with a minimal amount of work. To get back from the black, all you do is hit almost any other key. I usually hit the space bar because it's big and it's easy. Now, you know, PowerPoint was designed by engineers. And engineers like symmetry, which means if they do black, they also do white, and they chose the letter W, which should stand for whoa. All right, because it sort of hits you in the face. The Tom speak had an interesting point. If your slides are mostly in white and, you know, have black lettering, but the background is white, and you're doing it in a dark room, if you let the screen go completely black, it might be too difficult for people to get out of the room. Okay? In that case, maybe you go with white. Otherwise, I think white's a little overrated. Okay. Next, this Logitech presenter is pretty cool, and I am not shilling these things. I get absolutely no kickback. You get absolutely no discount if you buy them through me. But I think it's a cool tool to make your presentation a little more efficient. Now, with this, I can do a left click and a right click of anything that I'm doing in the presentation. I can use a laser pointer here, and by the way, I can take this about 50 feet away from the PC, which has a little USB attachment. That's the antenna that reads the other side of this. I can go about 50 feet away. I can use this laser pointer, which works very effectively from a long distance. And it's got a button that blackens the screen. That button toggles, and you can unblacken the screen. It also has a cool feature, a vibrating timer. So if you're supposed to go for 40 minutes or 45 minutes, you can know, exactly when you're supposed to stop without stopping everybody, without looking at a watch or doing any of those obvious things. Okay. Costs about $80 if you had it in stores. That's why I never got one before. Then they came out with eBay, and it works out you can get a refurbished one on eBay, usually in the $20 range. Although I checked in the last couple of weeks, and they didn't have them in the $20 range. Regardless, you can get a new one in the mid-40s. Again, I get no kickback. There is another similar one called a Targus presenter. Does the same kind of thing. Question?
No, I was just going to say, I actually last week coordinated a week-long training. We used the Logitech presenters. They were fantastic. And I could just hand them to every presenter that came in. They'd never used it before, and they had no problem using it. So I'm a huge fan, and I just used them for the first time last week. So.
Okay. If you don't want to pay for one, just go to one of her classes. Okay? So that's another way to... Yeah, if you don't want to pay the full 80, that sounds like a nice little idea. Was it?
The USB attachment separately, or does it come with it?
Oh, it's cooler than that. Not only does the USB connector come with it separately, but it fits in a little hole right here. So when you take it out, you just put it inside the one little unit. So it's almost impossible to lose it. The only problem is if you're showing somebody brand new how to use it, I've had multiple times where I've let the person use it, and I left, and they called, and they said, I couldn't use it because they couldn't find the USB thing. It was right inside, sort of like Dorothy with the slippers. The power's always been there, Okay. Next, I'm going to talk about the power of jumping through a presentation. Did you ever have a situation in a presentation where you're going along, but then based on the interest of your crowd, you wanted to deviate or you wanted to jump a few slides ahead? How many times have you seen a presenter do this? Oh, there's a bunch of cool stuff coming up here, and, right? Okay. You can actually jump to another slide in your presentation just by putting in the slide number and hitting the enter button. So, if from here I decided that I wanted to jump to the end of the presentation, no such luck for you. If I decided I wanted to jump to the end of the presentation, if I know the slide number where my session ends, I can put in the slide number, which is slide number 15, hit the return button, or the enter button, whatever you call it, and I jump ahead to slide 15. Okay? As long as I know the slide that I came from, I can jump back. I'm pretty cool.
Now,
Okay?
Can you do that on any laptop? On any...
No, that's the unfortunate thing. You have to borrow this one. Yeah, so, and if you could just, yes, yep, yeah, it will, time out. I don't know if that's entirely true. It worked, it has worked. What? That was a funny line. It has worked on every laptop I've ever tried, every version of PowerPoint I've ever tried. Now, if you're using PowerPoint on a Mac, I'm not sure if it works. If you use something called OpenOffice, which is the free PowerPoint, I don't know if it works with that, but it's worked on every one that I've tried.
The feature of PowerPoint is built into the PowerPoint, not the laptop.
Oh, right.
Right, oh yeah.
Something PowerPoint does for you, no matter where you run it. You could be on a machine that's under the desk that's hooked to one of those overheads, but it still works. It's a function of PowerPoint, not the
Why would you put the machine under the desk? Okay.
When you've got a machine under the desk, you're teaching in a classroom, the big machine's under the desk, and it's hooked to one of the upside-down LCDs.
Okay. 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 So, what's that? All right. This allows you to do what's called a conditional presentation. And we're going to take some time for ideas here. Instead, I'll just give you some of the ideas that I had for where this could be useful. Let's say you have a common set of questions that people ask during a class. and they're a deviation from where you are. Maybe some people come to the class and they're not completely prepared. So you have to answer some questions, and those questions, tend to involve 3 or 4 slides worth of information. If you know where the first one begins, you can jump out and jump back in by doing this. Just put in the slide number of where the first slide of the answer is, hit the return, jump out and jump back in. You just have to know where you came from, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. It's also useful for skipping things that you may not need or may not care about. It's also useful to jump past slides if you're running out of time. And as a matter of fact, tonight's presentation is a conditional presentation. I had slides 9 through 14 that I was going to use if we had time. We don't, so I'll just jump past them. And you would not even see that if I didn't tell you about it ahead of time. Again, if you send me an email address, I'll send you the slides so that you can see all of the stuff that was in the rest of them. Oh, it was great. Oh, the stuff that you're missing, it was great. Okay, you could also test the custom animations that you might do. And there are custom animations in that presentation. And if you forward through as a slideshow, you can see the custom animations. So that's cool too. All right, how do you come back? In other words, when you jump to a slide, how do you know to come back? Well, you have to have had the slide number on each slide. How do you do that? Go to the master slide and follow these rules. This is one of the reasons that I gave you a handout, so that you could see the actual mechanics of how to do that. Okay. Question?
The other way to do this is go into PowerPoint outline mode, print the outline, you have the slide and the slide title, use that as a cheat sheet, take it with you, and you've got it with you.
Yeah, I agree. There is a problem with that. And if you take a look at the piece of this that you missed, the idea is you sometimes have to pad out your slides with a bunch of blank ones, and that would make the outline too long, which is the reason that I didn't do it that way. But yeah, it's certainly a solution for a lot of types of presentations. Okay, like I said, I shortened up this presentation and skipped over a bunch of slides, and it would have been seamless if I hadn't told you that. All that I did was go up, and I know the summary sheet is on page 15, so I say 15, hit a return, and I jump to the end of my presentation. So, in summary, the B key allows you to make the screen go black without causing a fire hazard. The Logitech Presenter, I think, is a cute little tool to use when you're doing presentations, and it can also do the black and non-black in addition to allowing you to navigate through the presentation. It can't, unfortunately, allow you to do slide numbers. And slide number and enter allows you to jump through your presentations, do conditional presentations, or embed long common answers in presentations. All right? Thanks. I didn't do that right.
Thank you.